At the nation state level, you have the power of liberal atheism, in my opinion, is that it is a foreign policy tool for the Western nations. For the Western civilization, it becomes something that they can export to weld the cultural attitudes and the aspirations of people all across the world. And that generates market power, that generates the soft power can be converted into hard power through policy. We see this normally in the discourse of rights. Right? How does it get institutionalized in the form of rights, in the form of judicial interventions, in the form of state design itself? All of that comes, we know, from the Enlightenment metaphysics. So it is not just a matter of ideas, but there is a hard currency of the ideas converting into public policy. Right? Then you think about what is the next biggest acting force. Think about the capital class, the transnational elite. There are many global institutions today who play that role. Think about WEF and others. What is their incentive in propagating, in believing, and in sort of endorsing the liberal atheist vibe? It is a natural expansion into new markets. There is an organic incentive. It is in their interest to spread that. Think about academia, where ideas about identity are generated and spread. That is the nub. A lot of us who've been in this realize the connection between what starts in the academia, what percolates through the media, then gets institutionalized as policy. You might have seen. I'm speaking to you in Delhi. I was told that there is a gender sensitization curriculum now in primary schools in Delhi. Where is that coming from? Did it actually originate anywhere in India? Right? So for the turn that academia has taken in the Western world towards New Left, and what is the incentive that they have? Right? The incentive there is perhaps ideological. It is a belief of shaping the world in their view, in their vision of the world. It's a very powerful natural incentive. Technocrats. A lot of our culture is now mediated through the digital platforms that we use. I come from the game development background. I have a little bit of exposure to powerful immersive experiences and how they almost entirely rewire our neural pathways. We used to do this in our design choices ourselves. So for us, when we think about a technocratic vision, it is just the thrill of success when you see millions of people all over the world following the design that you have created. It is productizable. And creating that product glory where you have so many people consuming the design that you have conceived is a huge entrepreneurial victory. So you have the technocrats who are naturally aligned to a liberal atheistic vibe. And then artists. We're going through a phase in the world history now where I would say that a lot of our meaning making, whether we recognize it or not, is based on the images that are surfaced to us. Highly curated, sophisticated, good looking, glossy images that we consume relentlessly that have rewired the aesthetics in our neural pathways. And this is very important. Sometimes, we probably don't think enough about what this means. When we talk to our children, or when we talk about the cultural artifacts that we have, let's think about a cow. Let's think about any other cultural image that comes to us, Bharat. Right? Most of us, but including the next generation, all of us are consuming content through our phones. And there are highly refined aesthetic images which are filtered when we consume that through our phones in the way the platforms are curated, which means that we are wiring ourselves to imagine certain things which are very pleasing all the time. And there is, of course, neurologically, the whole idea of dopamine that kicks in, which feeds into your raga and dvesha, and it is put on steroids. Now, you take the kid out into the real world, and he looks at a cow on a dusty street. There is a natural kind of schizophrenia there. What I'm consuming, what I'm liking, what I'm imagining, what I'm building in my mind as the word image connection does not correspond to what I see here. And when I see something that distorts my idea, my natural response is to fall back to my digital world where it is curated for me. All the experiences are actually made to appear that they've been curated for me personally. We call this mass personalization. Amazon curates all the choices that you make. Every other platform curates all the things that you are supposed to enjoy. What happens? How do we learn? We learn when we face adversity. Learning, like Sri Aurobindo said, we perfect the world through our stumbling. That process of fundamental learning, where you entertain something that is not fitting into your worldview, where you encounter an alternate point of view, where you encounter an alternate image, where you start challenging the decisions that you've already made in a prefabricated manner, is how we learn, and that learning endures. Today, that is hijacked by the idea of customized, highly refined, aesthetic, personalized experiences, which are supplied into the palm of our hands incessantly 24 by 7, 365. So that's a big challenge that we are not able to rewire. So, therefore, cultural content, when we think about cultural rewiring for the civilizational discourse, we need to take into account the aesthetics of the design and how we are able to supply this as a word image association. Right? And artists, they are naturally aligned to the liberal vibe because it is going against the grain that is considered modern art. Right? Art has taken a turn where anything that actually emphasizes continuity and tradition is not seen as innovative enough. And there is a natural tendency also to have self-expression as the be-all and end-all. Right? So there is that challenge. And finally, what does it mean to individuals? All the choices, all the alignment of actors and incentives, from nation state to capital class to markets to artists and technocrats, all of this distills down to one thing. It is that at an individual level, we get a moral sanction for our indulgence. Culture is supposed to be the restraint. Culture is supposed to actually help us align our life with Purushartha in the Indian philosophy. But today you have put some dimensions, particularly the Kama dimension, particularly the Artha dimension on steroids, and you have obfuscated all the dharmic interplay. So therefore, as individuals, when you're offered this choice, our willpower is weak. Culture, if you think about a vrata, if you think about the cultural mechanisms that we had, they were built to actually give us a taste of renunciation in small doses. That was the civilizational design. We do not have that today. And when you do not have that, naturally, if you think about your own samskara formation process from a yogic perspective, you are just an automated machine. That is the challenge where you have all these powerful actors, their natural incentives working in consonance to advance a liberal atheist worldview.